you also have this wireframes. I mean, again, no, it's more or less like the prototypes, but these are static. They do not have the interaction. They do not have the navigation that you would typically expect from a prototype. But wireframes give you a kind of a box and arrows and lines and simple things that which is typically black and white or gray, and they don't have much visual design element there. But they give you an aspect of functionally how the application would look like, and perhaps give a little bit more than just look, but also potentially if you have a series of wireframes, you can get a better feeling in terms of how you can navigate from one to another. So that gives a sense of a good look and feel to yours. Again, that's where I use tools like, for example, OmniGraffle. You've got Balsamic, which I think is still available free. There are quite a few of these wireframing tools which you can try and use to create these the sketches and things like that. There's a mock-up tool, something like that. So there are quite a few of these, again, to give you the ability to create these, whether it is a mobile application or you can design a web application or enterprise one. So depending on your comfort and convenience, you can use these. And the other thing is a model. I think that's where I think a BA should step up and deliver more than just requirement, because I, as a technical business analyst, I could actually work on the UML model. They were back in those days. We had stress on UML, Unified Modeling Language. So I could create a use case diagram. I could create the collaboration sequence, class diagrams, and VOPC diagrams, and the ER diagram. All of these, they're the models that would really help the development team to get a grasp of what are the specifics, what are the intricacies involved in the flow, in the aspect. I'm just admitting once. So there, all of these, the models, the UML model that we just talked about, whether it could be use case, activity diagram, collaboration diagram, and sequence diagrams, ER diagrams, they potentially give you the not just the functional aspect, but when we talk about the back end, the different separation of layers, you've got the front end, the middleware, and the back end. So the front end is all about the wireframes, for example. So the wireframes give you the front end aspect of the presentation, how that should look like and how that should feel like. And then the middleware, which is the APIs, there's an example is API right now, which is the service layer, which actually gives you, or the workhorse, they actually take the stuff from the back end and feed the front end. So that's the middleware, or the layer that sits, the service layer. And then the other important thing is the back end, or the data layer. So as BAs, again, I would expect all of us to be able to actually deliver, to be able to understand these different aspects of the front end, the middle, and the back end. And again, these models, the models I was talking about in terms of the whether it could be the UML models. I use, again, OmniGraffle tool, again, great tool for creating these models. We also have some of the other tools like Visio, for example, TogetherSoft. If you used rational tools, rational suite of tools has rational rows and some of the other things. We used to have those in back in those days, but unfortunately, not very many people are comfortable with or aware of the value these models provide, because the model, as it says, is basically a representation of the actual solution. So it is the closest to a solution. So if you create something that a developer can understand, create a class diagram which has the different constructs of, for example, what are the different boundary classes, entity classes, and the controller class, and then how they're related, what are the kind of interactions that they have, then it's easy for them. It also makes it really simple for them to understand the overall flow of how it should start and what are the kind of entities involved. I think as BAs, it's a great asset for us to have in terms of the ability to create these models. And of course, the more agile role is that of showcasing and demonstrating this, whatever the product or the prototype that we have, to the stakeholders. And that's where, again, some of the agile ceremonies, the sprint ceremonies, as what we call, for example, the sprint review is a great ceremony where it happens depending on your sprint longevity. It could be every 2 weeks or every 3 weeks or once a month, depending on the product, of course, the project, of course, you would then be able to showcase whatever the team has been working on so far to the stakeholders, to not just the product owner, but also other people who've got a opinion or a view into that. And again, that gives you great insight. And the frequent and the more regular kind of interactions with the customers and the stakeholders are what makes these agile, the agile development methods a huge success. It was not there before. I promise, as I was telling you before, all the things that I was doing before in terms of the requirement specifications, all of these were just like, okay, you go to a meeting or you talk to a few people for about a couple of weeks and then gather all you can, come back, and then that's it. You don't have any further interaction. You develop. It's pretty much like you were in a dark room. All the development team would work for about a year, and then they go back, open the doors, and then say, hey, this is the product that we talked about. And then they say, no way. I mean, it's changed quite a lot. So that was the problem there. But then now with the toolkit that we have, with the methods that we have, with the support of agile mindset, I think nowadays the customers, the stakeholders, senior management, everybody's keyed into the development approach, even though they might not understand the nitty-gritties and the intricacies involved. They're still kind of, I mean, I have seen a lot of business people as well trying to be part of the agile ceremonies. At least 2-3 weeks, they would be part of the session, understand what is happening, what has been developed so far. Kind of, they take interest in prioritizing the backlog. All of these are making the agile development methodologies a huge success.